you can now generate pieces of art using AI, enter them into competitions and win. But can AI threaten the livelihood of book cover designers? Okay, so we're gonna generate some covers for a randomly generated title and genre submitted by you on Instagram. You can follow me if you want to influence. Using 3 very popular open source AI, DALLE 2, Midjourney and Stable Diffusion. None of these words are in the Bible. Having never used AI generations before, I had to warm up, okay, with an attempt to create Benny from Shark Tale and the Teletubbies baby as the creation of Adam painting from Michelangelo. And yeah, let's just say the results strayed far away from what I wanted, and even further away from God. Frankenstein in the style of Sally Rooney. TLDR, the way these AI generators work is by the user inputting a set of descriptors and parameters. Normally the first few words are weighted the highest and then the AI spits out an image according to the brief you put in. Slight modification on wording creates different results. So after obtaining your master's degree in writing AI prompts, you could, in theory, create whatever image and thus whatever book cover you're wanting. And I first tried to see if just typing Frankenstein book cover in the style of Sally Rooney would work. And yeah, the AI made me look like a mug because of course nothing in life is ever that easy. Wait, what makes a Sally Rooney cover? I'm trying to make something that follows modernism style, bright base, line art illustration. I'm not sure exactly what the style is called, but it's almost what you'd expect if you went on Google Images and then you typed in aesthetic illustration Tumblr. Tell me I'm wrong. DALLE 2. Honestly, trying to come up with different variations of what I was trying to describe felt like the hardest English language exam, okay? I was getting flashbacks to my year 8 days, talking about the luscious hills had undulating waves. The one that I thought had most potential was this one. Midjourney. It's on Discord. Okay, so with this one, you can input some image references as prompts, which I tried using Sally Rooney artwork to guide the AI, but you tell me if you think it helps. This was the image that I thought screamed book cover art the best. And then came Stable Diffusion. It's finished. All right. Why does that look like Benadryl Cumber squash? What the? Try to use the same prompts and I think this was the best pick. So none of them really came that close. Just using my plain descriptors. As a former computer scientist, at first I found it absolutely fascinating that you're essentially just giving this machine a brief and seeing how the technology has interpreted and identified patterns in other images to create, I guess, a unique thing. Whilst artists can use it for inspiration, more likely than not, it's just gonna harm creators who rely on these one-off jobs. It's so much easier and so much cheaper for people to just type in some parameters and just keep churning out enough machine-generated images until you hit something that's kind of usable, and it's kind of depressing. For this judgment though, I just had to think to myself, which one gives me the most Tumblr vibes? Now, straight off the bat, I couldn't use the images by themselves without some sort of manipulation. Maybe that's due to my shitty writing skills. And here are the results between the 3. Now, which one do you think was closest? Personally, I don't think any of them really came close. Boop. Man said 1984 in the style of a Colleen Hoover book. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I'm Colleen Hoover's biggest fan. Honestly, anything with the Hoover in the surname, I'm a bit wary of. Henry Hoover. The essence of a Colleen Hoover cover is saturated bright colors, close-up photography of a thing, and title interacts with the thing. Here I was trying to guess what font that Colleen Hoover uses. It's giving babe-ass new, but it's probably... And listen, I really need to believe in myself more because little did I know I was right. What would happen if I just type this like literally in the book cover? Does DALLE know who Colleen Hoover is? Should they? Yeah, it appears they do not know what Colleen Hoover cover is. 1984. government, surveillance, Big Brother is always watching, CCTV, Love Island. Originally,
I had a vision
of an aerial shot of a retro TV with an eye inside, okay? Laying on carpet, but then that didn't work out. So then I tried censored documents or like ripped up documents that I can like make it into the title. But then the AI couldn't do that either. Oh shit, someone's already done the thing I said. So I ended up producing an innocuous flower with a sinister eye inside. Now, those of you who have done any sort of English literature GCSE, I want to hear your best fake deep analysis of what this eye and this flower would represent, because I just think it would be funny, and I just want humor in my life, you know, like please, like just give me something to laugh about. I feel like Midjourney was the worst at interpreting the book cover prompt, but the variations were more consistent. You can accurately gauge my levels of stress through the linear relationship that it has with the greasy state of my bangs. And ta-da! Here are the three. I mean, between you and I, us together, not to toot my own horn, ring my own bell, or knock on my own door, but I felt like if I did this task myself, it would just be easier. And it would slightly be a little bit better as well, but like, which one do you think is the closest to the brief? So is AI good enough to rid the world of cover designers? I tried testing other genres, like fiction's flat art craze with like a romance book cover or like a summer cover, and the results were not entirely horrible, apart from a friend here who's keeping an eye out for Selena. I even tried to create a book cover for the second installment in Chloe Gong's Foul Lady Fortune series using Stable Diffusion's image option, but it was like, lady, this unfortunately ended up foul. There's websites that tell you which artists the AI can recognize and support, which is ironic because you're not supporting them all. And I was genuinely shocked at the sheer amount of artists that the AI can replicate. And the artists sometimes don't even agree to their work being used like this. Having done religious studies GCSE with a module in philosophy and ethics, I feel like this is not right. AI art opens a whole can of worms. None of them you can love. Is AI art any different to Photoshop tools or doing a study? Like if I input enough mixes of themes, if I reference enough meshes of artists, can I claim a result or a quote to be mine? I feel like one of the precious things about art is how the human consciousness abstracts and interprets ideas, how we process thoughts and the context behind the choices that artists make. Like this artist really chose to put lasers coming out of a chicken. That's cool. And I feel like AI generated art doesn't really have that. Like there's no meaning or emotion behind the choices that I make. It's just learned off of actual artists. I learned a lot playing around with these tools. 1. Although I found the process slightly frustrating because I had a certain image in my mind, researching the images that people have made, I was impressed. I was also afraid. I'd like to see AI art as a cool tool to use for the memes, idea generation, for expanding art, fixing details. But having read Lord of the Flies, I know the darkness in man's heart, and I don't think it can stay neutral like that. And 2, another thing I learned about myself in this process is that I spend way too long distracted on my phone. Boop. So either my prompt writing ability is just absolute garbage plastic gonna be polluting the earth for like a millennia to come, or